Well, good morning, everyone. Off to a great start. Thank you, Dana. Wonderful day. Apparently, we wore everyone, a lot of you out. Well, not you, of course, but your colleagues. So this place will fill back up. I'm just thrilled to be able to introduce to you the president of the board of the Juneau Economic Development Council, Alec Mesdag. He's also the vice president and director of energy services at AELNP. He's the co-chair of our renewable energy working group. A Juneau boy. Really great to have you, Alec.
So thanks everybody for being here. I know Dana did a great job of showing what an exciting agenda they have. We have ahead of us here today, and we really appreciate you all making it, especially the early birds here on time this morning. And also, many thanks to our sponsors. This event takes a lot to put on, and it wouldn't be possible without the donations from our sponsors. So thank you very much for contributing to this event and what it can do for Juneau. One of the things, so this is my 5th year coming to this event, and one of the things that I'm always really excited about, or one of the things I find value in coming to this event is just the reminder that if I'm not getting somewhere in an idea, this place is an opportunity to kind of question my underlying assumptions, and so that's one of the reasons why I'm excited to introduce our next speaker, because so much I notice in my own life that where I learn to question my underlying assumptions is through the art that I see around our community, and I think that's so often because it compels us to question our underlying assumptions. And so please, Dr. Rosita Worrell is our next speaker. Dr. Rosita Worrell is a Tlingit Eagle moiety of the Thunderbird clan from Klukwan. She serves as the president of Sea-Alaska Heritage Institute. She is an anthropologist, and prior to Sea-Alaska served as assistant professor of anthropology at the University of Alaska Southeast. So please welcome Dr. Rosita Worrell.
Most noble people of Alaska, and most noble people who have come here to visit and participate in this event. I am truly honored to be here and to be in a room of people who are thinkers, who are innovators, who care about the future of our state, who care about the development of Alaska to make a great society for all of Alaskans and show the world what we can do and maybe offer them lessons of how we can make a better world. I want to thank the organizers. I want to thank them for recognizing our traditions, for recognizing the halibut hook, a seemingly simple little thing like a halibut hook to catch fish. But that was an innovation in our time, and it allowed us to live on this land and to develop one of the most complex cultures in all of North America. We like to think of ourselves as innovators. We like to think that we can adapt to changing circumstances. I like to tell the story about when the Americans came and raised a flag in Sitka. When we found out what it meant that Alaska had purchased, the United States had purchased Alaska, we said, we are the rightful owners. And our clan leaders got together and said, what should we do about this? And there was a thought that maybe we should go to war. But one of our clan leaders said, no, I don't think we could do that. I mean, we've been buying all of our weaponry from the Americans to keep the Russians at bay. And there are so many of them. They seem endless. They keep coming to our shores. So we would not be able to win a military battle. And what did they do? Those clan leaders hired a lawyer, Mr. Willoughby. And they sent Mr. Willoughby to D.C. and said, if you want to buy Alaska, then buy it from its rightful owners. That was truly an innovation on their part, where they took the institutions of the larger society and made those institutions work for them. They sought their rights through those new institutions that came to our country. And so I like to think that some of the things we are offering as an example of that, where we integrate our traditional knowledge with the knowledge that has come to our shores. Last night, I think, was a wonderful opportunity for me to see, and I hope for you, to see Mr. George. I wish he could have given a lecture on his knowledge of the land, of his knowledge of the wildlife. I thought that we should assign him to the Department of Fish and Game, but he said, I don't know if he'd make it there, because he said, I'd probably be fighting with them all of the time. I said, but that knowledge is so incredible that you have. And that's what we need to do, is avail ourselves of the traditional knowledge that yet still exists and that could bring us, greater value to our state. And so that's what I would like to show you today, how we could use our art as an innovation for Juneau, for Southeast Alaska, and the state. Throughout all of human history, art has been prized for its spiritual, cultural, and aesthetic values. Today, it is also beginning to be recognized for its economic potential. In Southeast Alaska, arts is a $58 million industry. Artists earned $30 million in 2013. 25% of Southeast artists self-identify as Native artists. In rural communities, 75 to 100% identify as Native artists. So even though they're living in economically depressed communities, it is the art that sustains them. Out of 933 communities nationwide, Juneau ranks 6th for its creative vitality, which we can also use to transform into economic value. The economic potential of Northwest Coast and Alaska Native art is underutilized. Potential can be realized by promoting Southeast Alaska and Juneau as the Northwest Arts and Alaska Native Arts capital and the economic engine for the region. Northwest Coast art is internationally recognized and in high demand. What is Northwest Coast art? With Northwest Coast art surrounding us, we in Alaska have grown accustomed to seeing Northwest Coast art, but not recognizing its significance. Northwest Coast art has been acclaimed throughout the world as a uniquely distinctive form of design and aesthetics. Northwest Coast art evolved over thousands of years in the rich and complex indigenous societies of the Pacific Northwest of North America. Northwest Coast art is based on ancient formline designs, principles, and spatial relationships not seen elsewhere in the world. It also has the capacity for further innovation. Why is Northwest Coast art important? Northwest Coast art plays a significant role in maintaining the cultural diversity of the nation and the cultural survival of the region's indigenous population. Northwest Coast art represents a major attraction for visitors and can provide untold sustainable and economic benefits for the region and the state. Northwest arts could become another Southeast Alaska economic engine modeled after the Santa Fe Indian Market. The Santa Fe Indian Market began 95 years ago to promote tourism. Santa Fe Indian Market brings in 120,000 visitors, spending more than $80 million on art and services over a 4-day period each August. There are 900 plus artists from 200 tribes report earnings of 1/3 to 1/2 of their annual income. Imagine what we could do with more than 1 million visitors to Juneau during the summer months, and the community ranking 6th in the nation for our creative vitality. We have a foundation for the Northwest Coast Arts Capital. The first is Celebration. Celebration, which occurs every biannual year, brings in 5,000 people over a 4-day period. A 2012 study by the McDowell Group showed that each celebration generates an estimated total economic impact of $2.2 million. Some artists have reported up to $30,000 in sales over the 4-day period at the Alaska Native Artists Market during Celebration. Attending Celebration 2018 are 2 art and folk art groups coming from Santa Fe and the board of directors from the nationally acclaimed art museum, the Peabody Essex Museum. This is just the beginning. SHI has embarked on a campaign to establish Juneau as a Northwest Coast Arts Capital to promote arts throughout the region. SHI's initiative began with the construction of the Walter Soboleff Building, itself a work of art. SHI believes that this vision can be achieved with the collective action and support of federal, state, tribal, and local governments, businesses, and private organizations. SHI art programs includes training new Northwest Coast artists. We have a program at Lemon Creek Correctional Center where we are teaching them art and business. We have a Gaja Hit, a small building over here in the Willoughby area where we are holding art classes. Some are transition classes for some of those who are leaving Lemon Creek and re-entering the workforce. We are educating the public about our art. We are expanding the Northwest Coast art market. We are integrating Northwest Coast art in public places. We are designating Northwest Coast art as a national treasure, or we are seeking to do that. SHI programs also includes collaboration. We have a 3-way partnership with the University of Alaska Southeast and with the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe, New Mexico, to provide enhanced and expanded Northwest Coast art opportunities for our Alaska students. We are integrating visual and performing arts in elementary and secondary schools throughout the region. We also have an annual culturally relevant education conference featuring nationally known speakers coming to our region. And our newest effort on the table is the Native Artist Park. We see this Native Artist Park with monumental art from all major cultural groups as the beginning of growing a gateway to Alaska Native art throughout the state. We also have our brother and sister organization, the Tlingit and Haida Cultural Immersion Park, on the drawing table. It will expand Native art and cultural awareness for tourists, visitors, convention attendees, government, and local residents. It provides a venue for cultural events for artists, visitors, and an interface with Native food. It further stimulates arts and culture expansion throughout Juneau and the region. We also see that Northwest Coast art has a worldwide recognition. If you watch the Winter Olympics, the 2018 Winter Olympics, you might have seen some of the clothing that was designed by Corinne Hunt, a Tlingit and a Kwakiutl artist. She designed the sweaters for the Canadian snowboarding team. We had 28 million people who saw not only the skaters, but saw those Northwest Coast designs on that sweater. We had Alyssa London, a Tlingit, who was one of the top finalists in the 2017 Miss USA pageant. She wore a dress designed by Preston Singletary with Northwest Coast Art Designs. She got on the stage and she spoke Tlingit wearing her ceremonial regalia and with that new cape that 29 million people saw. We also have Dorothy Grant, another internationally acclaimed designer. She designed a tuxedo for Dwayne Howard for the 2016 Academy Award. And so there were 34 million people who saw that design. And then here at home, when one of our Chilkat robes was returned home and we had a ceremony at our clan house, we had 25,000 Facebook people attending and seeing our art, the significance of our art. We have a number of initiatives to pursue. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but we do have on the table many things that we need to do. And these are things that we are reaching out to other organizations, to the government, to the city, and saying we need to work together because this is a vision we can achieve. We have great art here. We are already recognized for our cultural vitality. Juneau, Alaska, the 6th in the country, ahead of Washington, D.C. That is a building block for us. So we want to ensure that our Northwest Coast art strategies at the local, state, and federal government and economic development plans are incorporated into those economic development plans and initiatives. We need to engage our political, business, and academic leaders to promote Northwest Coast art and Alaska Native art in all press and social media. We also need to complete our arts community economic development strategy. I am pleased to see that the state is making greater progress towards recognizing arts as an industry. There was some movement by the Department of Congress and the state of Alaska in these last few months. So there are many, many things that I think that we can do to promote Northwest Coast art, to make Juneau the Northwest Coast art capital, make Juneau the gateway for Alaska Native art. Gunlatish.
Thank you, Dr. Worrell, and it is wonderful to be able to play a tiny role in being a cheerleader. It was 4 years ago we invited Dr. Worrell to give a presentation about her vision here, and if I might, it sparked a conversation with the university that led them also to consider changes and an emphasis in Northwest Coast arts within their arts department at the University of Alaska Southeast. So it's just wonderful how these conversations can lead to, it leads us in unpredictable but also really positive directions. So that's just wonderful to see that progress. Lots more to do, but it's an amazing vision that we all need to get behind and be supportive of. I want to thank our sponsors. It's really, this event is possible because of the great support by Alaska Airlines, University of Alaska Southeast, Sea Alaska. I hope you enjoyed the branding that we've tried here a little bit more to make sure our sponsors are well recognized. GCI, Avista, the Alaska Department of Commerce, Community Economic Development, the Small Business Development Center, Geeks in the Woods. all have contributed substantially to this event. And we also have many more sponsors that bring you coffee breaks, and we'll get some ice cream this afternoon from Copa. We have please go out of your way to thank them for their contributions. Also want to thank Scarlett's, who put nice little flowers on every one of our table, freshened them up this morning for all of us as well. That's a wonderful contribution and great hospitality here in Juneau.